Hello, Tamily. It is time for Ask Tamily episode 113. 113 interviews. And our guest today will be Annie. Her Instagram name is Crescent City _ Tam. And you might also know her business page, which is Sugar Cookins. So follow both of those if you don't already. And we will get connected to Annie in just a moment. Of course, we have questions planned for her, but it's the most fun if you ask live questions in the chat. So please type them in at any time, and we will definitely make sure we get to all of them. And there's Annie. I'm just going to send her invite to join, and we should be connected. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being our 113th interview.
Thank you. I'm so excited. I've been excited since Friday when,
Yeah.
I think I've been watching since maybe around the 40th or 50th. I think. So that's amazing that you all.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I love hearing when people watch them. So let's get started with our favorite question, which is when and how did you start with the Tracy Anderson method?
So I want to say it was back in 08. I guess when like infomercials, were still kind of popular, and I was always a person that I could just get stuck watching an infomercial, and I wouldn't have to like buy the product, but I would just sit there for the half hour. So I kind of remember seeing the metamorphosis stuff, and I've always been active. I come from a running family. My dad was our track and cross country coach, and my mom's always been a runner. So being active was always important to me. But I was living in Austin, Texas at the time, and going to the gym, did spinning and did like dance kind of classes. So I remember seeing it. And then I think maybe a year or so later, I remember the original mat workout, and I tried it, and I remember thinking, what is this? Like, I don't even understand this arm stuff. This doesn't make sense. And I love it because now I'm eating my words, so I just didn't pursue it. And so then fast forward, I still kept going to the gym, and then over time I shifted to more at home workouts because I thought, it's a lot of money to go to a gym. It takes time out of my day. So I started doing, I think it was called Body Rock TV, which those people kind of split off, and then Zuzka Light started a Z Gym. So I started doing her workouts, and that was in 2012 or so. So stuck with those, and then fast forward, I'm in New Orleans, and got pregnant. My husband and I got pregnant. And so I was still looking for stuff to do at home. And I think I Googled quiet workouts because I was nursing, and it was hard to, like my son just wants to be attached. That's how he is. He needs to know someone's around. So I looked it up, and then I started following the hashtags on Instagram. And I noticed like Loretta, of course, and I started wanting to do more stretching. So when I was watching these movements, I thought, well, this is great because it definitely is going to get my heart rate up, and it is more of a stretching. So I started to like try to memorize the movements after watching you all on Instagram. And then I was like, okay, I should probably do 20 reps, which I know you're not supposed to count, but so that's kind of how I got started. And then I noticed Nadine, who's been interviewed before, she had a picture of the book of the 30-day method. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start with that. So that was January 2019. read the book, did the 30 days, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to do Metamorphosis. So I did Metamorphosis, and throughout that, I was seeing people do continuity, and then I thought, it's people have done it for 4 years. That is amazing. So I thought I would do that, but then I noticed people doing streaming. So after Metamorphosis, I started streaming. So
yeah, it's hard to resist I don't know, just energy that there seems to be around streaming. I always think people that like stuck with continuity, they have like more willpower than I do. Because I just felt like you feel alone. Even though you're alone with streaming too, it's just something is different to me.
Definitely. Yeah. And
So
it makes me, I always loved group fitness classes too. So I still feel like I'm getting them with the streaming. And then definitely with Instagram. I mean, I think that's a huge help.
Yeah, absolutely. Just seeing everyone that, posts and having those connections. It's the same like as if you went to the gym with them, but I think back to like having a gym buddy. They might not show up on a particular day, but somebody's showing up in the Tamily every hour.
Yes. Yes. And then to read, I love it when people kind of talk about their day too, because then I think that really motivates me because then, like someone was up with their kid last night all through the night, but yet they still made it to the match. So it's like, okay, if they can do it, then I can do it.
Yeah, exactly. That's a huge benefit of the community. Yeah. So what was it about the Tracy Anderson method that you felt like was different than other methods that, kind of made you end up sticking to Tracy?
I think it definitely takes getting used to not having someone bark at you. I mean, I feel like that's how fitness classes are sometimes. Yeah. And I think I used to like that. And then as I started to do Metamorphosis, and then I'm like, okay, I'm just with myself and with my head. And so whatever's going on in my head, I'm going to have to face it today. Yeah. But I also have to focus so much because with her movements, I feel like I don't want to scare people. You can hurt yourself though. So that's what makes you be so mindful about it. So I think it was the stretching aspect. And then I love variety and I love choices. And so just having that option too. Drew me to it.
That has gotten better and better. Like sometimes, especially now, the super arms that are in there and the wide, it's like,
yes. I know I saw that and I was like, another present? Like it really is a present. So
yeah. I'm like, why don't I have more hours in the day to just work out?
Yeah. And it's so addictive. Like I think lately too, I've noticed where sometimes I want to work out just because my mind needs it. And then I've started to notice the difference between, okay, does my mind need it? Or is it because I feel like I need to do this and I need to exercise because it's a regimen. And so I've had to back off with that sometimes too.
It's important to listen to yourself.
Yeah.
So what kind of results have you seen, both physical and any that are not physical?
So I think, the first thing is the physical that you notice, because your body really, it is like a metamorphosis. I can't even explain it. I don't even care where my body goes from here. I just know it's going to change and I'm here for it. So noticing that, like feeling like a tightening up, and I've not noticed a weight loss, which I don't care. The scale is not really important to me. But definitely like physically around the arms is amazing. And then in your stomach too, it's like someone's putting pantyhose on me. So those are great. The physical benefits are great. But then once you get into it, to me, it's the mental first and foremost. Like it makes me want to cry thinking about how much better I feel after doing it. And that I feel so much more confident too. Like the physical parts then play into the mental, because I feel like this tightening up is making me stand taller, and I feel more proud about myself and what I bring to the table just in life, you know, as a person. And especially over the past year, I feel like Tracy mentioned it in her in the beginner class, I think last week, about wow, when we open our arms, it's like I'm vulnerable. And it's so true. Like, and I feel like I was starting to just like shrink and hunch over, and I don't want to be like that when I'm 90. So yeah.
I mean, I think about like the physical benefits that we're getting now, that I'm like, what on earth would it be like 10 or 20 or 30 years from now if we weren't doing this kind of activity? It really, I don't know. I think it has amazing results from that perspective. And you can tell, I mean, there's, you know, obviously women in every decade of age doing the method.
Yeah. And then sometimes not that because I don't think I'm going to stray from this method, but when I start to, I guess, lack motivation, then I look up the hashtag, the TAM transformation. And I think I've seen everyone's transformation so far, but I still do it. And I go back through and I'm like, wow, I mean, it really is so amazing. It's just amazing.
It totally is. So who in the Tamily in particular inspires you?
Everybody, because, and especially when, like, you know, I have my sugar cookie business, and then which now I've gotten so into checking, and I don't like comment a lot, but sometimes I just get on to like see bodies moving. It sounds strange. And I'm sure when my husband walks and is like over my shoulder, he's like, what? There's just like bodies moving. And even my son this morning, he said, who's that? And I think it was Kristen.
Okay.
I said, her name's Kristen. He said, she's exercising. And I said, yeah, she's exercising. But everybody motivates me. So it's not really one person, but I just can think of so many people. Like Aggie, you know, I think she had a post recently about how she just really sticks with beginner and intermediate, but she's done the method for a long time. And to me, she's like a superstar. And to me, I think it's great that she does beginner and fundamental, and like how methodical she is and mindful in her movements. That's inspiring. I don't know. There's so many people. I really could just have a whole list.
I'm sure. Well, I think that Aggie is actually watching us right now, and she usually asks questions. So we'll have to see if she asks you anything.
Yeah.
How do you personally get and stay motivated to work out on a regular basis?
I just think about my brain. I feel like I'm kind of like a dog, and I need to be walked. And so I know that I have to do some sort of motion every day, whether it's for like walking. That's something too. Like, I think it's Go Glow, Carolina, maybe. She talked about doing a daily walk. And so lately I'm like, okay, I have 30 minutes. Let me just get outside for a walk.
Yeah.
But I really just have to do it for my mind. And I feel like this is the only body I'm going to be given. So I really want to take care of it. And I don't know. I just want to live for a long time. So that's how I motivate myself. I just say, it's like, I don't have an option.
Right. You have to make it a priority.
Yeah.
That's very important. What is some advice that you might give to someone new to the method or new to the Tamily?
I think, well, first keep an open mind. And I think this is what helped me. Someone said, like, give it 10 days. And I think in 10 days, you start to notice a change in your body. So give it 10 days. And I don't know, just withhold judgment, because it's, you know, it's not going to be like your HIIT workout. It's not going to be like your spin workout. So, I don't know. It's about change and accepting that if you're open to it. And then I think with time too, like I was on the message boards, I think a few days ago, and sometimes I just read through there to get motivated. And someone said, I don't have time in my schedule. How could I do this? I don't have a full hour. Well, a year ago, I didn't have that full hour. And so what I would do is I would wake up and I would do arms. And then later in the afternoon, I would do the legs. It was harder to do the legs because I wasn't that warm in my body, you know, and flexible. But I was like, well, this is my only option. So if you have to break it up, break it up. And don't worry about weights and all that's, you know, don't worry about the frills and stuff. Just slowly work on collecting those things, because you'll know when you're ready for them.
Right. Yeah. Those are both really, really important points, because like the whole thing with time, it's there. It is really about what you want to do with it.
Yep.
But it has to be like the right time and stuff for you. And I think too, sometimes when people are new and they see like, you know, people have a dedicated space, they have the best mat, they have a space heater, they have a humidifier, they have great outfits, and they think like, well, I need all of that stuff. Like, almost none of us had all of that right from the beginning. It's like that ends up being the thing that you work for, that like you spend whatever, you know, extras that you're like, that's what you end up wanting. I mean,
right.
It's like workout clothes becomes your Starbucks or your handbags or whatever thing. Like,
yeah, you're willing
and
to
you
give
don't
up
have
something.
to have that pressure, like that you need all of that immediately. Like it's just what happens over time if it becomes your lifestyle, like it does for most of us.
Yeah, definitely. And I just started doing the performance program, which I, for the longest time, I mean, I would read about it and was interested, but then I don't know, like it was like 3 weeks ago, I thought, no, this is a treat to myself. It's for my health, so I shouldn't feel guilty about that. And to me, it is kind of a game changer, and I didn't think it would be, but it just makes you become even more mindful and go deeper into your practice and just taking a closer look at yourself, which is, I think, what this is supposed to do. I mean, now I get all the mirrors. Like, it's about the angles, but it's also about you looking at yourself too.
Right, exactly. That's such a huge thing too. So we have a question from Kristen, who you mentioned.
Yes.
She said, you said you were a dog. If that were true, what breed would you be?
Oh gosh. Well, I don't know much about dogs. I mean, I love animals, but it's funny. I guess I would be, I don't know the attributes of a German Shepherd, but that's what I would be, I think. Is a German Shepherd.
I have 2 of them. They're amazing.
Yeah.
Super smart and wonderful. So I love that answer.
My uncle used to have a German Shepherd when I was little, and I would go to Ohio to their farm every summer. But Max was the German Shepherd, and I just loved Max's temperament. So, and loyal, like super loyal.
Oh gosh, yes, definitely.
Okay. Yeah.
Very, very, very loyal. Sometimes to a fierce degree.
Yeah.
What is something that you've learned from Tracy?
Gosh, I feel like honestly every day I learn something, but I think it's more of like just looking at myself, but probably I don't know. That's hard. I mean, she's such a great teacher. I think I love the fact that she's always said, that she doesn't want to know your body more than you do. So I should probably learn to know more about my body and how it moves and what feels better to me. If that means bending my elbow a little bit more to get some more space in a movement, then yeah, like I really should know my body, and it shouldn't be someone else telling me arch your back more or kick that leg higher. So.
Right. Yeah, that's such a good point. Like finding it in yourself means so much more. And it seems like a lot of other people in the fitness industry are like, you have to do this, you have to do this many reps, you have to do it this way. Like, you know, she really wants you to find your own way and make sure that you're doing it right yourself, not like the, you know, yelling about other reps and get your leg higher, you know?
Yeah. And then I think the other thing too, that I've learned from her, just because I think her look or the aesthetic of doing the method, and especially around the abdomen, you know, I love that she doesn't focus on like the caged look, which I used to think was, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, you know, have like almost like a six pack.
Yeah.
But I love how gentle it is, and especially being a female. Now I'm like, God, that is so important. I mean, it's just such a not a fragile area, but it's just a source of a lot of energy. And so, you know, we should probably take care of it. And
yeah, that makes sense. What is your favorite thing about the method?
I think someone mentioned this the other day about it being an escape. So it's not even like, it's not something that I don't look forward to doing. Like, I got to get my exercise in today. I'm really like, oh my gosh, I get to come in this room by myself, listen to music, just be with my thoughts, whether they're like positive or negative. It doesn't matter because I know I'm going to work through it. And so, yeah, it's the escape feeling of it.
Yeah, it is like very meditative, I guess, in a way.
So meditative. Yeah.
And the louder the music, the more inside your own head you can be. It's perfect.
Yes. Yeah. I was going to say something. I forgot. Yeah, the meditative quality. Oh, well, I was going to say during the pandemic, I mean, this has been my medicine. And the more I can do it during the day, the more I do it. And there have been times where I come out of the room and I'm like, oh, this is still going on. Because I think it's going to be a while. And, you know, so it kind of lets you forget what's going on.
Yeah, like I think about that. I mean, you know, definitely the workout, but then also having a digital connection to thousands of people in our community. Like, I don't know how people got through it without that. Like, especially in other methods, you know, there's a lot of like yoga and different people that like took their stuff digital and started doing Zoom classes and everything. And maybe those people connected to each other, but I can't imagine like getting through this year without the Tamily. It's such a totally different thing, and we already had that support there. So obviously, you know, we do a ton more Zoom workouts together than we have in the past, but those even existed before. So I think that part of it is like really amazing that we didn't have to make connections. We had them already. Like, I don't know what people, like especially people super dedicated to working out who went to a gym every day and then their gym was closed. Like, if all of a sudden I had no Tamily and no Tracy website, oh my God.
I know. That's why I was kind of nervous. Well, I wasn't nervous about the website switch, but I mean, I was like, oh gosh. I mean, and of course there were glitches like anything, you know, but I just thought, I can't be without this I can't be without it for 2 days. I could do a day, but 2 days would be tough.
Right. Yeah, oh my gosh. Like when I changed my payment, I think from monthly to doing the annual thing, I was like, is it going to cause any problems? Because if so, I'll just keep paying it monthly.
Yes. Yeah.
Can't go without it. So why is your, Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the other thing that I love to, or that I love about the method is the Tamily. I mean, I don't think it's such a huge part. I mean, it really is a big part. I mean, her method is amazing, but the fact that, and you all have been around, you know, I mean, I can't believe I just found this less than 2 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
So everybody's just super motivating. So, yeah. And I feel like I know people, like in my head, they're my friends. Even though they're probably like, who is Crescent City Tam? But okay.
Oh, we all know who's in the Tamily. It's just Tamily from the start.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when you think about some people that they were actually connected on Tracy's forum in the old website before Instagram was invented. Like, that is amazing.
So weird. So awesome, but so weird.
Yeah, totally. Why is your workout personally important to you?
It's for my mind. I mean, I'm an Aquarius. I'm really into astrology too. So it's funny that like I just want to delve into people's birth charts. I mean, that's such a huge thing for me. So it's been hard to hold that back. But I'm an Aquarius and I feel like my brain just doesn't shut off. I think it just can go a mile a minute. And at night, I have a hard time sleeping, which is, I think, just my Aquarius mind. And so movement is great for that. And so that's why I need it. It's for my brain. I mean, my husband says sometimes, like, is your brain on? I'm like, yeah. So.
Yeah, that is a much more important reason than why some of us come to the method initially. Do you do attain, fundamental, start, or like a combination?
Well, I think lately I've been like going back and forth. And I think is it Duchess Montaigne or Montaigne? She said something the other day about like kind of being in between that, of like being, you know, liking IMC, but also AMC is a challenge too. And so, but it's like, I can't really do AMC right now with the heavy weights. I don't even really try that because I know I will hurt myself. I know it. So sometimes I like doing AMC with no weights or the light weights. And then with the IMC, I like doing, you know, what Tracy prescribes. But then sometimes too, like again, at night, if my mind is on and my son is falling asleep, I will get up and I'll go in the room next to him and I'll do beginner just because it's like a meditation. It's just like you said, it's like a meditation. And so I just get lost in those movements at night. And then I think it slows my mind down, even though I know Tracy says like, you kind of get your adrenaline pumping, but to me, beginner doesn't get it going. Like, I mean, if I were to do AMC at night, which I don't know how you exercise at night right now, but it's the morning, huh?
Switch to morning. But yeah, I exercised at night for like 5 years or something.
Yeah.
It was like the only time I did it. And I don't know, I guess I didn't see like that it did keep me awake longer, but now with the morning workout at like 9:30 I'm ready to fall asleep and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so different. But you know, and I think you have to work out whenever it works for you, but there's definitely benefits to it being in the morning, and now I'm like addicted to it being in the morning.
Yeah. You really do just kind of knock it out, and then you don't have to think about how you're going to fit it in later in the day.
That is like such a, I don't know, relief.
Yeah.
So Deb asked in the chat, do you like the chair that, you know, has been in Attain so much lately?
Yes, I do. I like the chair, and it makes me think of using it with, I guess, the original Matt DVD.
Oh, okay.
She used to share some, like, and there was some leg lifts and stuff.
Okay.
Definitely not as like intricate as like kicking over the chair like this week. But I do love the chair. I mean, I love the use of props.
Mhm.
Before I started the method, you should see our backyard, because slowly I started to just, like, I have a trampoline
Uh-huh.
that's leaning up against the wall. I have a stair stepper because I used to love step aerobics, and all the things I've kind of collected. So I like it. Like when she threw the towel in
Mhm.
a few weeks ago, I love that. So
It's so funny because we have such different, like, all different opinions in the family. But I hate props, and
okay,
that's why what comes to me, I'm like, I don't know how people dealt with that ball and the hoop and the pole and everything. But
yeah.
I don't want to miss out on it, so I do try. And then the whole time, I'm like, I hate this chair.
Yeah.
But
The ball, that tiny ball though, I don't know if I would like that, because I've watched some people on Instagram where they have to hold it in their knee, and I think I would just get frustrated with
oh
it.
my gosh. Yeah, I think I would too. There's no way. I hate balance moves anyway. Balancing on that ball,
Yeah.
no.
Like the balance move this week with the chair, where you just go down and touch the ground and I guess
Mhm.
kick back or arabesque back, and then just come back up and do a knee lift. That one I've gotten so annoyed with this week, but it's okay. I'm just going to keep trying.
I always think about, Tracy said something once about, like, if you're annoyed with it, like, it's what you need because it's like dealing with your weak areas. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, it's just stupid.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she's right. Have you converted anyone to being a Tammer?
Yes. So I've tried to tell everybody, well, I'm not back at work. I worked in a spa. I'm an esthetician doing facials and waxing, and I still don't feel comfortable going back, even though they're open now. But so I used to tell my coworkers, nobody really got on the bandwagon. And then my sister, she was talking about, she's always been a runner, and we tend to be more like bottom heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And we've never really seen any change in that, even with tons of running and stuff. So she started, I want to say maybe back in May. So she is a Tammer. However, she kind of injured her back because she still runs sometimes. But I told her, I'm like, just keep doing arms. Just do the arms. Like Emily Hansen, right? Because she hurt her foot recently. And I remember her saying, well, I'm going to focus on abs and arms.
Yep, exactly.
So I told her to do arms. And then my mom is now doing it. And my mom has been doing it since, it's got to be August. Or yeah, for 2 months now.
Okay.
And my mom is doing beginner. And she's done great. She does it every day in the morning. So
awesome.
She exercises. She still runs and she takes bar. My mom's like a little Energizer bunny. I get that from her, I think. So, but she's liking it, and I think over time, I just really believe like she's gonna see the work that comes from doing it.
Yeah, I think for some people it just, takes longer, or they want to include those other things, and then one day they'll just be in the right place if it's the right place for them to be 100% tan. But yeah. When
I read the 30-day method, I think that's when I had a shift of going, okay, she's asking to like just focus on this. And it was really hard for me not to be like, but I should probably still run, huh? But I thought, no, I'm all in. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to like follow it to a T.
Yeah. But it has to be the right time for the person,
Yes.
I've tried to force lots of people. That doesn't really work.
Yeah.
So what is your routine like, and how do you fit your workout into your life?
Well, before, when I was working, I would do the arms in the morning, and then if I was at work and if I had like a lunch break, or if I didn't have any clients, I would be in my room. I would close the door and I would do legs, and I would bring my weights with me to work. So I did it that way. And then with the pandemic, I just do it every morning, like usually start by around 9 o'clock. There's never like a set time when I start, but yeah, I do it in the morning, and I do like doing it in the morning. I like doing it on an empty stomach. It definitely does feel better. I think of when Tracy talked about she had like a burrito with a veggie burger in it and how it didn't feel good. So it's true. You do feel different. I mean, it's doable, but I don't know.
Yeah, I always think like, how am I gonna do this? I feel like a zombie, and then I get started and it works out, and
Yeah.
then I don't know, it just feels like you've already accomplished something for the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know we know a little bit about this, but tell us about where you live and what you do.
So I live in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I am an esthetician, so facials and waxing, which I loved, and I miss seeing clients. I have a degree in social work. However, I haven't. I don't know. Like I went to aesthetic school and didn't really get much experience in social work. But I'm originally from Frankfort, Kentucky. So yeah, and then I bake on the side. I'm trying to build that up just with the pandemic. So I actually just bought a stand to project images onto cookies. And that's what I'm using to hold my camera right now.
Oh.
But I love baking, and I've always made sugar cookies with my mom every Christmas. So I think that's what got me into doing it. And then I wanted to learn more about decorating with royal icing, and it's all about the details. So it makes me think of the method too, because I'm like, it is. I love to look at tiny things and go, oh, they flooded this thing first, and then they filled this area. So, yeah, a cookie.
Yeah, they look beautiful. They look like they also taste amazing, but they are so beautiful.
Thank you. It is a good cookie. My mother-in-law told me, she was like, they're not just pretty, Annie, like they really do taste good. And that's important to me. Like, who wants to eat a crappy cookie?
Right. So how long have you really been doing it as a business?
I want to say somebody ordered them from me probably 6 years ago. It was right before I had my son.
Okay.
And then in my head, I thought, I'll be able to do this while I'm home with him. No. Like even now, I mean, he'll be 3 October 20th. And it's hard. Like he wants a cookie every time he wakes up in the morning. And it's just hard to decorate. But, I'm getting around it, and you got to make it work. Just like with exercise and the method, you got to make it work.
So if anyone's interested, can they just go on your Instagram and figure out how to order them?
Well, that's what I want to work on, being able to ship, but I'm currently not shipping. I'm just doing local orders, but that's my goal. My husband found someone to work on a website for me, so that's being worked on, and I just keep telling myself baby steps, just baby steps. But that's my goal. I would love to ship cookies too.
Any Tamily in New Orleans or anyone passing through can definitely get some from you.
Yeah. And if I would love to know, I know Scotty is originally from New Orleans, but I don't know anybody else, because I would love, whenever I feel safe kind of going out in the world, to do a family meetup in New Orleans.
I'd love to come to that, even though I don't live anywhere near there.
Yeah, you would. It is such a magical city. I mean, I call it my magical city. You just have conversations with people that are out of the blue, like if you're riding the bus, and I don't know. It's just an amazing, amazing city. So.
Yeah, it seems to me to be a city that has its like very, very own unique culture. Like, I don't know what it's like now, but a decade ago, there's like live music everywhere you go, and I've never been anywhere that's like that. Like, it's just a totally different aspect of America.
Yes, yeah. And that's, my husband's actually a sound engineer, And that's how we met, because I went out listening to music and I met him. And so, yeah, and he misses it because there's been nobody's getting together for live music right now. But it is, you can just go like on Frenchman Street, you could just go down Frenchman Street, pop into a place, hear jazz, go into another one. I don't know. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, one day.
Yeah.
Not that far in the future.
Yes.
How did you first discover the Tamily?
That's a good question. It might have been, I tend not to go to that explore page on Instagram, but I must have seen something, or something was kind of recommended to me in my feed, but I think it was Loretta. And I saw her doing these movements. I'm like, oh, that looks so interesting. So stretchy, but still hard. And then like when I tried it, I thought, this is really hard.
Yeah, she makes it look a little bit too easy.
Yeah. So then I just thought, okay, well, I'm going to start and I noticed her hashtags, I guess. And that's what made me start to follow Tamily shares and, all the different hashtags. But I remember when I first started, I told my husband, I'm like, there's a whole group of people called the Tamily, babe. I think it's like a cult. And again, I'm eating my words, because now I'm like, and he's like, are you going to Tam right now? And I'm like, yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, it seems weird at first. And then it's like, even my coworkers know about the Tamily.
That's awesome.
What about your first post to Instagram? Do you remember what you posted the first time?
It might have just been like a selfie. Yeah, it was probably just a selfie of like me or no, I think it was a picture of me and my son.
Aww.
And but yeah. And then I think probably the first one of movement of doing it was when I think it's Sarah Plain and Tam.
Okay.
And then Erin Correll, right?
Okay.
Who's now kind of doing different stuff, but still, I like to see what she's doing. They were wearing like headpieces. So then I thought, well, I'll put on my son's dinosaur headband.
Oh!
So I think that was one of my first ones, was that.
Oh my gosh, that is like really jumping into post.
Yeah, I know.
I think I remember that. I'm going to have to go back and look for that post.
Yeah, and I think it's sideways. I didn't know how to post, Yeah.
Yeah. We've all learned a lot about posting on social media.
Yeah. Well, and then I never knew how to like edit. And now I think editing's pretty easy. But Emily Hansen said to me, do you start filming every move? Because every move was me like in the computer pressing record. And I said, yeah, I don't know how to edit. So, yeah, she helped with that. And then I learned, I'm like, this is so easy. Why was I doing that?
It's all new stuff for, most of us, especially because most of the Tamily, like, that's really the only real social media that they do. It's not like they were, making dance videos before this kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I don't do the live stuff, or I don't do the stories. I still don't, everything looks fun. Like I love to watch people's stories, especially like Cassie.
Yes.
Sass time. I love to watch her stories and click through and love to see people add, I don't know, the little people doing.
Yeah, I still have no idea how anyone does that. It's just easier to me if you live stream the whole thing. You don't have to worry about posting anything. It's just there.
Yeah. Well, I think I watched your arms this morning. It was either today or yesterday. And then I thought, I might start doing that because it just seems easy. So.
Yeah. And then because I was wanting to post every single day and sometimes like taking selfies and then forgetting to post them and then having to edit clips and stuff. And I would always like obsess about, well, I want to put this move and this move and this move. And I was like, what am I doing I'm just gonna put the whole thing on there. People can look at whatever they want.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's a great idea. So I might start to do that.
Awesome. Well, we can also live stream workouts together.
Yeah. Okay.
Just
Okay. All right.
okay. I might message you about that.
That sounds good.
What is something that you have learned about wellness from like your mother or father or maybe sibling?
Well, my mom, I think I credit her with always being active. I think she told me she started to run when she was in her 20s. And so she teaches diabetes prevention classes now, but she used to be the director of home health in the county that we lived in. And they still live in Kentucky, but, and then she became the director of the health department. Well, right across the street from the health department is a cemetery. And some people might think that's weird. I actually live there's a cemetery one house down from here in New Orleans. So it's funny that I ended up near a cemetery, but after work, she would always go for a run. So I would either go walking through the cemetery and then as I got older, like in high school, I would run with her. But she always made it a priority. And then I think my sister too, followed suit. She's always been active. And so, yeah, I can thank them for just, you just don't really I don't question it. It's like, it's a part of your day.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes such a difference to like grow up with that. And I think, there's a lot of people that they kind of grow up with like a dread of exercise or like thinking it's really hard. It just makes such a difference, I think, for children to see it as it's something good for you and it's totally a normal part of life that everyone should do, not like it's a bad thing or, it's really difficult. I mean, that's something Tracy talks about is like sometimes, people just don't realize like you're going to be uncomfortable during exercise. It doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Like just because it's never uncomfortable.
Right.
You have to embrace that.
Yeah.
That's definitely a great lesson.
Yeah. And then usually too, what I find like when you're really uncomfortable, I mean, even sometimes when I start arms, I notice I'm like a little annoyed. And then I know, well, it's something in me that I'm not looking at. I know it is. It doesn't have anything to do with the way she's moving her arms. It's all in here. And then I need to figure it out. So,
yeah. And I mean, it's so good to have that ability to like process through it. Like, cause I feel that on a regular basis where I'm like, these are the worst arms. And then I'm like, okay, it's me. Let me just get through the rest of this. And then, I'll feel better because the arms, not that different than other arms.
Right.
What are you most proud of personally?
Probably my family and just being with them and having a son. And I'll be 40 next February. And so I waited a little later because I don't know, I just, God, it's such it's a responsibility. And I'm like, I have to help grow a human. So I better learn all about myself because everything's going to come up when you're having to deal with a child that's 2 years old that's having a temper tantrum because you won't give them the blue marker when you have a red marker, So yeah, just my family, and especially during the pandemic, I think it really, it makes me have memories back to being a college student and not having a lot of money. And I used to thrift shop all the time, and I kind of got away from that. And going through the pandemic, I haven't ordered anything, and I love looking at people's workout clothes, and I think they're awesome. I have, leggings that I've collected over the years, but I definitely won't be buying anymore. And, whenever things start to get a little better, I see myself starting to thrift more, and I got my sewing machine out. So it makes me think about things that are going to last a long time, and that really all this is just stuff.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it all goes away, but you know what I really want is my family beside me. So
yeah, definitely helps you prioritize what's important.
yeah.
Well, we are coming up to our last couple of minutes, actually, and I just want to make sure if there's any other questions in the chat.
It goes by so fast.
Nicole was asking about ordering cookies too, so you're gonna have to figure out how we can order cookies.
Okay.
I think. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's all the questions from the chat. If anyone has any more, you can type them in right now. But Annie, thank you so much for interviewing with us. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the Tamily while you have this audience?
I think I'm just ending with that about, like, you know, I think what's really important is your health and those close to you, you know, doesn't have to be your biological family. Just value, put a lot of value in that, put a lot of value in your body and taking care of it. And like, don't sweat the small stuff. And the other thing is, like, I know one of the questions is what's a motivational quote, and I like reading quotes, but I also think, like, well, I want my mind to create a thought, you know. So what I tell myself a lot of times that doesn't get into my videos on Instagram are, I just say all the time, you can do this, because there's so many moves where I stop to rest and then I'm like, you can do this, you can do this. So just keep telling yourself you can do it.
Yeah, that's a very important message. Thank you, Annie.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for your time today and, you know, sharing with us and being open and being an inspirational member of the Tamily. You'll have to definitely keep us updated about your cookies, and I will message you about working out live together on Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, please do. That sounds good.
Thank you so much, Annie.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Tamily.
Thanks.
Bye.
Tamily.